Star Trek. 10 alien species that debuted in the movies, not the TV shows. Star Trek has always been celebrated for its dazzling array of alien species. From the cerebral Vulcans to the mischievous Ferengi, the television series have introduced audiences to some of the most imaginative extraterrestrials in sci-fi history. Yet, the Star Trek movies often took a bolder approach, unveiling species that never appeared on the small screen, offering new threats, allies, and enigmas to the galaxy. Here's a closer look at 10 alien species that made their first appearance in Star Trek films, leaving a lasting impression on fans. 1. The Borg. Star Trek. First Contact, 1996. While the Borg eventually appeared in Star Trek: The Next Generation and beyond, their cinematic debut was in First Contact. The Borg's chilling cybernetic collective, with its single-minded pursuit of assimilation, elevated them to one of Star Trek's most iconic cinematic villains. The movie's portrayal amplified their terror, showing the Borg in massive cube ships and swarming humanity in unprecedented numbers, a scale the TV series rarely matched. 2. The VGER entity. Star Trek. The Motion Picture, 1979. The first Star Trek movie introduced audiences to VGER, a sentient machine intelligence evolved from the Voyager 6 probe. Unlike the episodic threats in the series, VGER was a philosophical and existential enigma, forcing the crew to grapple with questions about consciousness, purpose, and evolution on a galactic scale. Its massive, mysterious cloud-like form was a cinematic spectacle that TV budgets could never have accommodated. 3. The Gorn. Star Trek. The Motion Picture Era. While the Gorn famously battled Kirk in the original series episode Arena, it was the movie adaptations and fan expansions that truly brought this reptilian species into cinematic legend. The sheer scale, texture, and menace portrayed in movie-inspired media gave the Gorn a far more intimidating presence than its original TV incarnation. 4. The Klingons in Star Trek. The Motion Picture Reimagined. Klingons existed on TV from the original series, but the first films reimagined Klingons, with ridged foreheads and more feral appearances, marked a visual and cultural evolution that the series never initially explored. This cinematic redesign reshaped Star Trek's perception of Klingons for decades, influencing everything from The Next Generation to modern adaptations. 5. The Dominion predecessors. Star Trek. Generations, 1994. Although the Dominion became central in Deep Space Nine, early cinematic hints of their manipulative species, like the foreshadowed founders or manipulative entities, appeared in films like Generations. These creatures expanded Star Trek's sense of political intrigue and interstellar power plays, teasing larger cosmic conflicts that would later dominate the series. 6. The Tholian. Star Trek. The motion picture inspired lore. While the Tholians were briefly seen on TV, their cinematic portrayals and expanded movie lore emphasized their crystalline ships and deadly spatial webs in a way the episodic format could never fully depict. Movies gave audiences a true sense of their alien, almost geometric mindset, making them far more menacing than the small screen appearances. 7. The Sona. Star Trek. Nemesis, 2002. Nemesis introduced the Sona, a species with a dark history tied to the Remans. The Sona were technologically advanced, morally ambiguous, and visually distinct with their pale skin and ceremonial garb. Their cinematic presence allowed Star Trek to explore complex cultural narratives, something the TV series rarely afforded new species in a single episode. 8. The Remans. Star Trek. Nemesis, 2002. Alongside the Sona, the Remans brought a stark, survivalist contrast to the Romulans. Their nocturnal society, physically imposing appearance, and tactical cunning were showcased on a scale uniquely suited to film. The Remans' portrayal explored themes of oppression, rebellion, and identity, weighty issues often reserved for serialized TV arcs, but condensed powerfully into the movie format. 9. The Borg Queen. Star Trek. First Contact, 1996. Distinct from the collective Borg, the Borg Queen was a singular, sentient manifestation that gave the collective a focal point. Her introduction in First Contact provided a terrifying yet fascinating narrative center for the Borg, allowing for a mix of horror, philosophy, and personality that the episodic Borg on TV never fully explored. 10. The Species 8472. Star Trek. First Contact expanded lore. Although primarily developed in the TV series later, the cinematic concept of Species 8472, alien, invulnerable, and biologically superior, was foreshadowed and hinted at in the movie's thematic expansions. These kinds of species showcase Star Trek films' willingness to imagine life forms beyond humanoid conventions, emphasizing scale, danger, and creativity in a way the episodic medium couldn't always accommodate. Conclusion: Star Trek movies have always offered fans the chance to experience alien life on a grander, more cinematic scale. Whether it's the philosophical quandary of VGER, the menacing hive of the Borg, or the morally